Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most pivotal moments in ancient history. A clash of titans that reshaped an empire and sealed the fate of legendary lovers. We're talking about the Battle of Actium. So, set the scene. It's 31 BC. The Roman Republic is fractured, torn apart by civil war. On one side, we have Octavian, the shrewd and ambitious adopted son of Julius Caesar. On the other, the charismatic and brilliant general, Mark Antony, allied with his powerful and captivating partner, Queen Cleopatra of Egypt. The stakes couldn't be higher. The winner would control the entire Roman world. The loser would face oblivion. For months, the opposing forces had been gathering. Antony and Cleopatra commanded a massive fleet, a mix of heavy Roman warships and lighter Egyptian vessels, stationed in the Gulf of Ambracia, near Actium in western Greece. Octavian, guided by his exceptionally talented admiral, Marcus Agrippa, had blockaded them. Antony's camp was suffering from disease and dwindling supplies. He needed to break out, and he needed to do it decisively. The morning of September 2nd dawns. A dense calm hangs over the Ionian Sea. Then, the horns sound. Antony's fleet, a formidable wall of wood and bronze, begins to emerge from the Gulf. Agrippa, a master of naval tactics, doesn't attack head-on. Instead, he draws Antony's ships out into open water, using his more agile and maneuverable Liburnian galleys to outflank Antony's larger, slower Queen. The battle begins in earnest. It's a brutal, chaotic scene. The air is thick with smoke, the clash of metal, the splintering of wood, and the shouts of thousands of men. Agrippa's smaller ships dart around Antony's behemoths, raining down projectiles and ramming their vulnerable sides. Antony's larger ships are like floating fortresses, difficult to sink, but also difficult to maneuver. They rely on grappling and boarding, turning the sea battle into a series of land fights on shifting decks. For hours, neither side can gain a clear advantage. The sea is stained red, and the fate of the world hangs in the balance. Then, something strange happens. A fresh breeze picks up from the north, and suddenly, a squadron of about 60 Egyptian ships, with Cleopatra herself on the flagship, hoists its sails and breaks away from the main engagement. They sail south, right through the chaos of the battle. Was this a prearranged plan to escape, or a sudden act of panic? Historians have debated this for centuries. What we know for sure is what happened next. Seeing Cleopatra's purple sails disappearing over the horizon, Mark Antony makes a fateful and frankly shocking decision. He abandons his men, his command, and the largest naval battle of the age. He transfers to a smaller, faster ship and gives chase, pursuing his queen, leaving his massive fleet leaderless and in disarray. Imagine being one of Antony's soldiers or sailors. You're fighting for your life, for your general, and suddenly you see him fleeing the battlefield. The blow to morale is catastrophic. Confusion turns to despair. The fight goes out of depth. Antony's remaining ships, though still formidable, begin to surrender one by one. Some are set ablaze by their own crews to prevent them from falling into enemy hands. Others are captured by Agrippa's relentless forces. By the end of the day, the sea is a graveyard of smoldering hulls and broken dreams. Octavian has won an overwhelming victory. Antony's mighty fleet is annihilated, and his legions, stranded on the shore without their general, surrender soon after. The Battle of Actium is over, but the final tragic act of this drama is just beginning. News of the defeat spreads like wildfire. Antony and Cleopatra manage to escape to Alexandria in Egypt, but they are now fugitives, their powers shatter. Antony, once the master of the Roman East, is a broken man. He hears a false rumor that Cleopatra has taken her own life. Consumed by grief and despair, feeling utterly betrayed by fortune and abandoned by his own honor, he falls on his sword. But the tragedy deepens. Cleopatra is still alive. The dying Antony is brought to her, and he perishes in her arms. Now, she is alone, a queen without a kingdom, facing the victorious Octavian. Octavian arrives in Egypt, not as an ally, but as a conqueror. His goal is to capture Cleopatra and parade her through the streets of Rome in his triumph, the ultimate humiliation for the proud queen. Cleopatra, however, would not be a trophy. She tries to negotiate with Octavian, using all her famed charm and intellect, but he is unmovable. He wants her as a prisoner, realizing there is no escape and determined to control her own destiny. Cleopatra makes her final choice. According to the famous legend, she has a poisonous asp, a symbol of divine royalty in Egypt, smuggled to her in a basket of figs. In a final act of defiance, she allows the serpent to bite her, choosing a death fit for a pharaoh over the shame of a Roman triumph. The fall of Antony and Cleopatra at Actium wasn't just the end of their lives. It was the end of an era. It marked the end of the Roman Republic's bloody civil wars and the final demise of the Hellenistic age that had begun with Alexander the Great. With his last rival gone, Octavian stood alone and supreme. He returned to Rome not just as a general, but as the undisputed master of the Roman world. He would soon take the name Augustus, becoming the first Roman emperor and ushering in centuries of the Pax Romana, the Roman peace. The battle that began with the clash of ships off the coast of Greece ended with the birth of one of the greatest empires in history. The love story of Antony and Cleopatra, for all its passion and power, was ultimately consumed by the ambitions of one man and the inexorable tide of history. It's a story that has fascinated us for over 2,000 years. A tale of love, ambition, betrayal, and the epic clash that decided the fate of the Western world. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you won't miss our next historical adventure. Let me know in the comments what you think about Antony's decision to leave the battle. Until next time, stay curious.